Live from an abandoned warehouse in Waterbury, Connecticut, it's
Semi-Regular
Wednesday!
Wednesdays.
Our 96th remote show with our special guest, veteran TV writer Mike Rowe, plus comedian Jimmy Callaway, and Jan McNamara, plus the improv stylings of How Embarrassing. And now, recently re-edited to 4-hour length by Zack Snyder, Flower Shop Bangers.
Oh, Lord. Can the world handle 4 hours of the Flower Shop Bangers, Stu? Is that what you're saying? Is the world ready for this?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, we've done, let's see, this is our 96th show. Each show has been about 75, 80 minutes.
Yeah.
I think you could probably splice it together, extract just our improv sets and, yeah, I mean.
That almost sounds like a challenge to make like a coherent plot with all of these improv shows that we've done virtually.
Yes. And it's going to be just interminable to watch. I can see why AV Club gave it a C+.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know Dan and myself, we are Flower Shop Bangers. We are an improv duo based out of Chicago. We have been performing together for almost 8 years. In fact, it'll be 8 years next month. And we have been hosting remote shows twice a week for the duration of the pandemic. In fact, this past Monday was the first anniversary of our first remote show.
Yep.
Thank you to everyone who is tuning in right now. We have a really wonderful evening for you. Interesting mix of comedy, of obviously it's almost all comedy, but interesting mix of improv, stand-up. We're going to be interviewing an Emmy award-winning writer and producer. But before I go over all the wonderful acts that we have this evening, all the great special guests that we have, Dan, if you could say a few words about some small businesses that we're promoting, as well as some ongoing fundraisers.
Yeah, sure. So if you look down below, you will see a little banner, and that banner is meant to promote some, as Stuart said, some fundraisers and some small businesses that we are trying to support at this time. So first off, there is a GoFundMe organized by the comedian Chris Fred. Chris Fred is trying to raise money for people who were at Black Lives Matter protests who may have contracted COVID-19. So you can find a link to that GoFundMe in the description of this event. Second, there is another GoFundMe, and that is organized by the bar that Stuart and I usually host this show at. That is Shakers on Clark. Shakers is trying to tip their bar staff. So if you are at home and you maybe are having an alcoholic beverage or otherwise, you can go click on that GoFundMe. You can give the money that you would have given to the bar to Shakers to try to support them at this time because they can't pay their bar staff. So, we should try to, pay it forward because we all want to go back to, the bar when we're done. Third, there is a really great gym called Bodi Shak. Bodi Shak is a really great gym, serves the uptown community well. It's locally owned, is Black owned, and they have really great fitness classes. I have a link to their website as well as to their GoFundMe. The website, you can sign up for classes, or the GoFundMe, you can just give directly if you want to. Next, there is First Sip Cafe. First Sip Cafe is a really great coffee and tea shop in Chicago. Highly recommended. You can find them right off the Argyle Red Line stop in Asia on Argyle. And I have a link in the description to get gift cards from them. Last and certainly not least, there is the place where Stuart and I trained in comedy, at least for the last 7 years. Both of us have kind of trained at various schools in Chicago to do improv, but one of them is the Comedy Clubhouse. That's where we've probably spent most of our time and most of our efforts. So the Comedy Clubhouse has a theater company associated with it of sorts called One Group Mind, and One Group Mind is offering classes that you can take in many comedy disciplines, including stand-up, improv, and theatricals. If you are interested in one, two, or all of those, and if you are at any level, you can sign up on their website. Yeah, so that's all that. I would also say that, in between acts, we often like to try to have shout outs to the various people that are watching. So if you are at home watching, we would recommend that you like or comment on the Facebook stream, or you comment on the YouTube stream. Either will work, and we always appreciate seeing who's there, and the comics appreciate it too. Bye. Back to you, Stuart.
Thank you so much, Dan. It occurred to me almost after the fact that tonight's show has a little bit of an East Coast flavor. I think with one exception, all of our guests this evening are from somewhere on the East Coast. I mean, obviously closing out the night are your co-hosts, Flower Shop Bangers.
Woo!
They'll be doing a 15-minute improv set as they normally do. Our special guest, right before the Bangers, is a man who's been in comedy for going on 45 years. First as a stand-up comic, and then later as a TV writer and as a TV producer. He is a Emmy winner who has worked on TV shows including Futurama, Family Guy, The PJs, and The Nanny. He also recently wrote his autobiography titled "It's a Funny Thing: How the Professional Comedy Business Made Me Fat and Bald." Just to welcome Mike Rowe to the show.
Woo!
Thank you. Thank you. Sit down. Thank you.
It's a pleasure, Mr. Rowe. Right before Mr. Rowe, in Los Angeles, by way of San Diego, we have a marvelous comic by the name of Jimmy Callaway.
Woo!
Hi. Bringing that big East Coast energy.
Oh, yes. Yes. That Yorba Linda heat. Right before Jimmy, we have comedian out of Boston, Janet McNamara.
Woo!
Who we first had in our show just a few weeks ago, I believe. No, she was not part of our All Boston show, but she was in a show we had a few weeks ago. We tend to do theme shows, but I digress. Leading us off this evening is a improv group that we've had on a number of occasions in the show. They're not just an improv team, but they happen to host a podcast where they ask a special guest, and those special guests have included Dan and myself. Basically, if we could share an embarrassing, life-destroying, humiliating personal anecdote, and they happen to have someone here tonight who is willing to share a life-destroying personal story. Please welcome back to our show. How embarrassing!
Woo! Oh, hello.
Yes. Can you guys see me?
I can see you, Molly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody. Welcome to How Embarrassing, the podcast about all of our embarrassing lives. My name is Molly.
And I'm Jeff.
I'm super producer Matt Cole, and that's my friend Brian Garrett.
Yeah, that's our friend Brian.
I'm avid listener, frequent guest performer Brian Garrett.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so today we will be telling embarrassing stories and doing some improv based on those embarrassing stories. So to start us off, and Brian, I think I forgot to mention this. Do you have an embarrassing story to tell? I just figured you were chock full of them.
He is. Look at his dumb ass.
If not, we can talk about my pee-pee bed.
I'm not going to try to one up your pee-pee bed. So,
she slept on dog piss. Go ahead, Brian.
I slept on dog piss for 4 days.
That's the too long didn't read.
Last week? Oh, you went to visit your family.
Yeah. And apparently,
now it all makes sense.
Apparently, my dog has been using my childhood bed as a litter box. That's all. I mean, Brian, you talk now. I'm over it. Who cares?
Okay, so I did not plan anything, but the first thing that comes to mind.
It's good because it's improv.
Picture this.
Improv, baby.
Picture this, 5th grade. I'm in safety patrol, one of the most popular kids in class. I decide to have
You are one of the most popular
ma'am.
kids? Okay,
Yeah, it was a different time. It was a different era.
Interesting.
I decide to have a very exclusive birthday party at my house, which was on a lake. And I invite the 3 most popular girls and my 2 best friends for a 6-person birthday party.
Boy, girl,
shit.
boy, girl.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Uh-oh.
That's a hookup
Go
party.
ahead.
And remember, this is on a lake. So my parents and I was, for whatever reason, my parents didn't have very good boat safety sense, so they would let me take the boat out on my own, even though I was only in 5th grade. 5th grade.
Okay, 5th grade.
5th grade? You were boating at 5? Did you have boat shoes?
Probably not.
Oh,
Wow. You
So
can't drive a boat without boat shoes.
so we load up on pizza, and I take these girls out in my rowboat, and I row them out to the middle of the lake, and all of a sudden, my stomach falls to the floor.
Oh no.
too much pizza.
Oh, no.
Too much pizza, and
much
I'm in the
pizza.
middle. I'm in the middle of a lake with nothing but oars.
And the most
And
popular
the three
girls.
most popular girls in school, right? So I rode like you could have skied behind the rowboat. I got to shore. I ran as fast as I could across the half acre to my house, shit myself the whole run across the yard, went in the house, changed my clothes, came back out. It's like, yeah, I just got a little sick to my stomach and I threw up because that was a euphemism for shitting myself.
Wow.
Cut to college.
Whoa.
Yes, this story ends in college.
Damn, dude.
I'm taking an adult studies class at a local school to catch up with credits that I might not have gotten during regular school.
Adult studies?
Yeah, I'm college age, but I have older adults in my class, right? And I'm
Okay.
working on a group project, and the lady who has us over to her house lives in my old neighborhood. We get to her house, and I look at the pictures of the kids going up the wall, and I'm like, "Oh my God, you're Maria's mom." I knew Maria in elementary school,
Yeah.
and based on my physical description, she doesn't miss a beat, and she goes, "Are you the boy that got sick on the boat?" And then I had to tell them all the actual version of the story. The end.
All
Oh my
right.
God.
Molly, come in and scene with me. We're in a closet. Wow. So, I've never done this 7 minutes of heaven thing before.
Did you, I'm sorry, the lights are off. I can't really see, but did you just puke?
No. I have some bad laryngitis. Let's get back to the making out part, Jacqueline.
I think I smell vomit in
No.
here.
No, that's it's an old closet. It's an old Victorian closet. They used to hang up juniper berries, and when the juniper
Oh.
berries rotted, it gave off kind
Okay.
of like a vomit. Let's make out though, Jacqueline.
Okay, I came here to get my first kiss, so
Oh boy,
I guess
mine
I'll
too.
go for it.
I've been dreaming about this for a long time, Jacqueline.
Did you just shit yourself?
No. It's again, it's an old Victorian house that we're in. It's squirrels getting in the crawl spaces, and they like to fight over the
Okay.
juniper berries that are rotting that smell like vomit. It's I mean, why? I was about to make out with you, Jacqueline. I wasn't gonna shit my pants or anything.
All right. Well, my older sister did say that she would buy me a bra if I got my first kiss tonight. So here
Oh,
goes
man.
nothing.
So you mean you're not wearing a bra? Okay, here we go. Jacqueline.
Oh my God. Steven?
Cut to college.
Oh!
Cut to college.
Yeah, so who wants to play a game of spin the bottle?
Not me.
What?
My brother died making out at a party, so I don't like any sex games. Wait a second. You're not wearing a bra?
Yeah, I actually
Are you
I
the
never-
closet kissing murderer?
It's her. It's Jacqueline. She killed me.
I carry my brother's ghost around on my shoulder.
Oh my God.
He's here with me.
Steven?
He has some things he'd like to tell you, and he'll channel them through me.
Make out with my brother, and all will be well.
Really?
No, that's
really?
not okay, ghost brother.
Because I've been cursed for years. And I just want to get my first kiss so that I can buy a bra.
I don't want to harass you. You could just apologize.
Oh, well, shit. I'm sorry.
All right, here's that long-awaited bra.
Oh my God,
Well
It
earned. Well
feels-
earned.
it feels actually awful. I regret.
Yeah, they're
this
not all they're
choice.
made up to be, are they?
Oh, fuck.
You are cursed.
Oh, it will
All
never
right.
come off.
So this actually. Oh, you go, Matt.
Oh, well, this may be a quick one, but I have this weird memory, which I was embarrassed for. I think maybe my mom and sister were more embarrassed, but like I used to hang out a lot with my sister and I would like hide and jump out of places and like scare her.
I hate that shit. Fuck
yeah.
that.
I love doing it.
That's bullshit, and it's not funny.
So I hid underneath a bunch of blankets one time and I was going to jump out at her. But then my mom and my sister happened to having like a teenage like talk about like self breast checks.
Oh my God.
All right,
I
Jeff,
was like,
Jeff,
Jeff. I was like hiding underneath the covers, and my mom was like, "Okay, so make sure you feel underneath the nipple for any lumps or anything." I'm like, and I wanted to jump out, but it didn't seem like a good time because it was so educational.
All right, Jeff.
All right.
Son.
Yeah. Dad.
You know, we watched that movie, The Little Mermaid, and you seemed aroused, and it's time we probably have the talk. Have your testicles descended?
My testicles?
Yeah, have they
I
descended?
don't know that word, Dad. I mean,
All right, we're gonna have to start from square one.
okay.
All right, I'm a little nervous because when I had this talk with your brother, your mom kept scaring the hell out of me because she knew I was nervous.
She loves doing that shit.
She's the worst.
I think it's hilarious.
So testicles is a fancy word for balls. You might call them, you and your friends might call them balls. If you're at
Okay.
the doctor's office or talking to your parents or the teacher or people in public, strangers, you should probably refer to them as testicles.
Okay. So you're asking if my balls have dropped off of my
No,
body?
no. When you're born, they're up high, but when you grow older, they fall down below.
Yes.
Oh my God.
She got you.
Honey.
Me, I
Not
told you
now.
I told you we were having the surprise party today.
Not now. I'm fathering.
Okay, but I'm telling you, there may or may not be a large group of our friends and family hiding just out of sight.
I think Dad's asking me to see my balls, Mom.
Tell them to give me 10 minutes and we'll be good.
But
Tell them to give me 10.
okay.
The old 10. All right, son. Next thing you need to know is you're not circumcised, but you live in a country where most people are.
Okay.
Honey, just a quick reminder, our rabbi is here. So
Okay, I need 9 minutes, honey. College 9.
I don't really know what you're trying to talk about, Dad. I mean,
That's to the mom and the rabbi. How much longer, Susan? How much longer is he's been in there for 5 hours talking about balls and scrotum and the xiphoid process, which isn't even down below. That's near the rib cage.
Cut back. So the next thing I really need to talk to you about is the xiphoid process.
Whoa. I
It's
really
not
don't
even.
know what that
A
is.
lot of people think it's down below, but it's not.
Oh, where is it?
We're
above?
going to Google that together.
Okay.
So bring up a browser.
Okay, let me go ahead. And you just want me to type in
Let me take a deep breath because I'm afraid somebody's going to scare me. I hope it's not the.
So sir,
Ma'am.
hi. Yes. I've been waiting inside of this cake to hop out. You said this is some sort of coming of age party for your son.
Whoa. I thought that was a real cake.
We were going to get to that in a minute.
Okay, but
Surprise.
it will cost you extra.
That's okay. The rabbi's paying for it.
Great.
Just talk to him.
I don't know if the rabbi's going to pay for it if I'm not circumcised, Dad. I I feel like that's against the rules.
That's what your brother says.
So, did I ever tell you guys? I feel like I did because we're all really close best friends forever.
I love you guys so much.
Yeah, the first time I got my period,
God.
every woman on my street happened to be out of town because they were all out of town.
What?
They were all friends. They were all friends with my mom, and they had all gone on a trip together for their conjoined 40th birthday party.
Jeez.
And so every woman was out of town, including my older sister was also on a trip as well. So it was just me and my dad. And I remember trying to con my dad into taking me to 7-Eleven so I could like get supplies, even though I didn't really know what I was looking for. And I ended up, he went in with me, which like was not part of my plan, but also like, why wouldn't you just go in with your daughter? And I ended up getting a Slurpee, but I was so like frazzled and shaking and embarrassed that like I kept trying to put the lid on and I couldn't. So then I just like slammed the Slurpee down and left. And my dad was like, why didn't you? I already paid for the Slurpee. And I was like, I don't want the fucking Slurpee, Dad. And he already paid for it. So he made me go back in and get it. The worst. And I haven't had a Slurpee since.
What?
Me and Jeff. James, what is going on? Look at little Karen. She's running from door to door. It looks like she has blood all over her. Is she
Oh my
being
God.
murdered?
We need to help her. We should call the police and go. Do you have your gun or your sword?
Yes, I got my sword.
Awesome. Okay.
So
I have
if she
my
comes,
potato shooter.
if she comes over here, we're going to help her out.
Okay.
Poor little Karen. Look at her. She's tripping over. She's in her
Oh my
nightgown.
God.
This is like out of a horror movie.
Well, maybe we should go get her. I mean, someone's
Hey,
chasing her,
guys.
obviously. Oh, she's here. Fuck.
Listen, I've been going door to door and trying to carry on this facade, but I'm just ready to tell you the truth. I was embarrassed because I got my period. So I killed a guy.
What?
Why'd
Why'd
you
you
kill
kill him?
him?
I don't connect those dots.
I was using
I'm
the
not dead yet.
Oh my God! Kill him! Get him! Potato!
I wanted the decoy blood. Get it? You know?
Wait, to cover up your period blood, you smattered a murdered man's blood all
No
over you?
embarrassing, everybody. Not my smoothest exit, but thank you to Matt and everyone else in the How Embarrassing crew. We hope you're doing well I'm tongue-tied tonight, over in Norfolk, Virginia. And please make sure to check out their podcast. It really is fun and engaging to listen to. Thank you guys again for doing the show again. I sincerely appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course. So a couple of pieces of business before we get to our next comic. Dan, how is the Facebook Live feed looking?
It looks amazing, simply amazing. So I thought I'd give a couple shout outs to some people that I see that are watching. Well, first, Matt Cole did comment on the feed, so I'll give him a shout out. Why not? He said, this show is my favorite, better than Jeopardy. Hell yeah. I take that as a great badge of honor as someone who has watched every single episode of Jeopardy that is on Netflix. Not all of them in total, but you know. Anyway, I'll also give some shout outs to one of our favorites, Mark Romanowski, who's probably watching at home with his wife Jordan. Always great to see them. There's also Charlie Arksey, who he's a frequent performer who we've had when we've done our shows live. It's always good to see Charlie. Then I see Josh Murtaugh, Amber Nettles. Amber's watching. Amber's one we've had in our show before as well. And Donna Lewis. So I thought I'd say hello to all of them. Thank you all for watching. We always appreciate you all.
Thank you so much, Dan. When Dan and I moved our show to Shakers on Clark in July 2018, we began a two-man campaign to save Chicago Barprov. So for the unfamiliar, barprov, obviously a portmanteau for bar improv, basically free comedy in a bar, but not necessarily exclusive to improv. Basically every type of free entertainment you can find while you're getting shit-faced. So Dan and I first cut our teeth at a barprov show at the Underground Lounge in Wrigleyville, but during the, if you can call it the glory days of Chicago barprov, the early mid 2010s, there used to be shows pretty much all over the north side of Chicago. There used to be shows at places like Mullins and AJ Hudson's and the Crocodile Lounge and the Publican and the Horseshoe. And one by one, these bars started going out of business, or the bars that stayed in business started canceling the shows. And for that reason and others, people started, moving in a different direction. So when Dan and I moved to Shakers 3 summers ago, the very concept of free comedy in a bar in Chicago kind of had its back against the wall. And we want to be kind of that tent pole, that beacon of hope that such a thing can exist, especially in a city that has such a rich comedy history. And as an incentive for our campaign, we established and created this improv tip jar. Yes, there is cash and change inside the tip jar. I designed this cup myself. It took me all after an entire Sunday afternoon. Yes. And it's not only a way of our audience showing us that they appreciate the show, but it's our way of giving back to our performers. And at the moment, there happens to be $27.90 inside this very tip jar, which means split 9 ways. All of our performers tonight are going home with $3.10.
Woohoo!
Not tell any of our performers that this was a paying gig, but if you are enjoying the show, and obviously because we are still in the middle of the pandemic, you do not want to drive out to uptown and throw cash at Dan's 3rd-story apartment, or drive over to my place in Ravenswood Manor.
I won't say no if you do, though. Thought I would just throw that out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
If someone came over here and was like, "Hey, I'm going to give you money," I'd take the money, and then I would split it amongst all the performers that are here tonight.
That makes perfect sense. I guess it's the ambivert in me. It's kind of like I'm a little skittish. But for those of you who...
I'm a straight introvert, and I'd take money still if someone came to me and gave it to me.
That makes sense. But if it's far more convenient to just Venmo us. My Venmo and Dan's Venmo are directly above me.
Yep.
It is not a competition. All of the money tonight will be split 9 ways. Just think, if you make a $9 donation, that's an additional $1 in everyone's pocket. So if you are enjoying the show, please throw a little money in this improv tip jar. Without further ado, our next comic was first in our show about a month ago. She is a really phenomenal comedian based out of Boston, Massachusetts. Please welcome Janet McNamara.
Thank you so much. It's great being here. Thanks for having me, guys. I like Zoom. I was thinking this today. There's a lot of people I hate. I think it is like, how sometimes when you hate someone so much and then you realize they also hate themselves. So you're like, at least they get it. It's like, now I kind of like you because we have something in common, which is that we hate you. Life is fun. I hung out with my mom a couple weeks ago, which was fun. She told me I was beautiful. She was like, "Janet, you're so beautiful. Imagine what would happen if you wore makeup and you didn't dress so homely." I was like, I think I'm going to stick with just being beautiful. Why risk it? Makeup makes my face slimy. Why would I do that if I'm already freaking Cindy Crawford? Fun. My mom has early onset dementia, so she like lost all like filter. And I feel like one thing no one ever tells you about Alzheimer's is that they don't forget how to be a bitch. That's my mom. Buckle up, people. Life is fun. My dad died a couple of years ago, which is fun. But I still like to text him, or at least I like to text the guy that has his number, and I'll text him and I'll be like, "Hey, Dad," and he's like, "I'm not your dad," and that's just what my dad used to say. It's like he's here. You get it? Because he never was. Yeah. It was good. I don't watch porn. I think porn is boring. Porn's boring. There's no character development. You know? It's like, what about her childhood made her think she could pay for a pizza like that? You know? Drives me up every time. And then what's the contingency plan if he wants to get paid for the pizza? It's a plot hole. And then I'm bad at sex. I don't know. I could have gotten better. I'm not sure. I stopped polling people. I stopped polling people because I found out it was weird to send survey monkeys after sex. And I found out in 7th grade social skills that if enough people tell you your behavior is weird, they might not be bullies. You might just be being weird. So then I stopped sending surveys, but then I don't know. It's a tough situation. I'll tell you this, I'm not Asperger's. That's the thing I know. I got tested because people kept asking. So I was like, I'll ask. And I asked my doctor, and I remember he just looked up from his notebook and he goes, well, people with Asperger's generally have above average IQs. So I'm not smart enough to be mildly autistic. Is what that doctor told me. But then I got a second opinion. Because fuck that guy. I can be autistic. Also, people kept asking. And I was having a hard time at work at the time. Because of my personality. At work, they told me I wasn't social enough. I was like, I'm not social because I'm working. You know? Also, my day job, I'm an accountant. That's my day job. That's why I dress like a whore. I'm an accountant. I told my boss, I was like, I don't understand why I have to be so social. My boss was like, it's not that you have to be that social. It's just that, for example, this morning I said hi to you and you just put on your headphones. And I was like, I said hi on Monday. This was on a Thursday. I don't understand why I have to say hi every single day. You know? It's like Monday morning, you're like, hi, how was your weekend? Yeah, it was great. Nah. What do you say? Tuesday, you're like, hi, how was your Monday night? Nah. Wednesday, it's like, hi, fuck you. Just work. So much better. And I'm not Asperger's, so I'm right. But I did get a second opinion. I got a second opinion because they were like, you need to work on your eye contact. And I was like, I'm going to sue you. So I went down to the suing place. And I was like, yeah, they're making me look at them. And he was like, you need to get a formal diagnosis. You need a formal Asperger's diagnosis. And I was like, I already tried. I'm not smart enough. And he's like, try again. You'll probably get it. You have to get a neuropsych exam. So I went out and I got a neuropsych exam. It took all day. It was a 6-hour test. It cost $8,000. Or it cost my insurance company $8,000. It cost me $20. Thanks, Obama. And it was all day long. It was all day long. And you do all these tests. You like look at pictures of people and you're like, they look happy, they look sad. And you do all these things. And at the end of the test, I was so mad. The guy, he just came back. I swear to God, he just came back and he sat down with the report and he just looked at me and he goes, you're so close. He goes, you're so close to autism. You just didn't quite hit all the criteria. And the criteria I didn't hit, the reason why I'm not autistic, it's because the tags on my shirts don't bother me. I was pissed. I was all ready to go back to work and be like, hey, I don't have to say hi to you. It's not that I'm rude. It's that I don't understand. But it turns out I'm just rude. I know I'm rude because the tags on my shirts don't bother me. And that's how you can tell the difference. Life is fun. I don't know. I'll tell you this. I haven't had sex in 3 years. 1 year doesn't count because of the pandemic, so 4 years. I haven't had sex in 4 years. Last time I had sex because I realized I hadn't had sex in 2 years. So I was like, I'll give it a whirl. So I went on Tinder, and a half an hour later, I was having sex. That's how being a girl works. You just summons it, and they come. And I remember the second I had sex, I was just like, I wish I was watching The Office. It would be so much better to watch The Office. Sex is just how I remember. I remember the first time I ever had sex. I thought it was going to be this like euphoric experience. And then the second we started having sex, I was like, ugh. Okay, I get it. Sex just feels like a slightly bigger tampon. Sex is just a slightly bigger tampon that just keeps telling me to relax. I'm like, I can't, I'm tight, you're stout, get to work, bitch. I just don't care about sex. I don't care. Somebody told me once, they were like, Janet, I think you might be asexual. I was like, I don't give a fuck what you think I am. Also, what's asexual? She was like, asexual. It's when you're uninterested in sex. You should read a book about it. I was like, no. I'm not reading a book about something I have no interest in. That's stupid. All right, that's my time. Thanks, guys, so much. My name is Janet McNamara.
McNamara, everybody.
Hey.
Thank you so much, Janet. Do you have any upcoming Zoom shows or anything of the sort coming up, Janet?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The honest answer. Our special guest, Mike Rowe, is still on deck. We still have one more comic, though. Before I get to all of that, though, I keep using the same word over and over again. I need to get out of the habit. Dan, any Facebook Live updates?
Yeah, I thought I'd give a couple shout outs to some people. First is Mitch Kessler, our friend at One Group Mind, a really great guy. Always loved seeing him. And the other is my girlfriend Sally, who's watching at home with her dogs. So that's fun too. That's all I got, unless this is another person. Oh, Matt Cole liked the feed again. So we'll just give another shout out to Matt Cole. He performed tonight, and he's also just commenting under this. He also says, Sally, you are a fucking lucky gal, and I believe she is too. So anyway, back to you, Stuart.
All right, thank you so much. If you have missed any part of the show so far, do not worry. All of our shows are archived on the Flower Shop Bangers Facebook page. If you've missed any part of tonight's show, it will be saved and archived right after the show ends, which will probably be somewhere around 9:20 Eastern Time, 8:20 Chicago time. About 6:20 on the West Coast. Also, we have a website, flowershopbangers.com. If it's just too complicated to find us on Facebook, there is a direct link to our Facebook page as well as our YouTube channel with a near complete archive of all of our remote shows and information on upcoming shows. Without further ado, our next comic is originally from San Diego and is now based out of Los Angeles. He is a self-described serial optimist and just a very witty and savvy man. Please welcome back to our show, Jimmy Callaway.
Oh, thank you, Stuart. Thank you, everybody. That was a misprint. I meant to say I hate myself and I want to die. Sorry about that. That's a mistake. I've got to talk to my guy about that. Hey, everybody. My name is Jimmy. Sure, I'm addicted to nitrous oxide, but one day we're all going to look back at this and laugh. All right, good. First joke is done. This is my hair. Hi, I've been in quarantine for a year. Can you tell? I'm now a roadie for the Eagles. I hate it so much. I will be shaving my head, and Mike, if you're interested. I also got vaccinated. I didn't mean to make a crack at Mike's baldness either. I was really offering them. I got my first vaccination shot last week because I'm an American hero. You hear a lot about grocery store workers and hospital, and that's fine. But if I don't go into a small ophthalmologist 3 mornings a week and enter data, then I don't know who else will. I got the Moderna vaccine. That was what they had down at the place. But since I have an English degree, I qualified for the post-Moderna vaccine. Thank you. It's pretty much the same as the regular vaccine, except there's an unreliable narrator. Thank you. I went to college to tell that joke. There is one thing that the vaccine conspiracy theorists have conveniently left out of their theories. I went all the way down to the clinic to get the shot, waited in line for an hour. They gave me the shot, did not get a lolly. Even though I barely cried. Yeah, thank you. Gosh, rude. All right, back to the wordplay jokes. I had a rough day today. I got into a big fight with my peanut butter this morning. So I just spent the rest of the day trying to smooth things over. There we go. Now we're back at it. I went grocery shopping today, but I made that rookie mistake of going grocery shopping on an empty stomach. So I ended up buying like 5 stomachs. Okay, that's for any cattle who might be watching. I've been reading a lot during this quarantine and also before the quarantine and after the quarantine because I'm lonely. And I've been reading a book about the Beatles. You guys know rock band The Beatles?
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a fan, but I'm learning a lot from this book. Like, did you guys know that there were 4 Beatles? That's a long way to go for a not very good joke, but thank you for coming with me. I was reading a thing. I learned this the other day. Did you guys know why they use drug sniffing dogs? It's because drug injecting dogs don't get out of bed before 2 p.m. I don't know why I'm asking the questions and no one is able to respond. It's not. I've been doing this for a year now. A friend of mine got a new cat. She's very excited. She wants me to meet a new cat. She's like, "You got to come over. He's a Siamese." And I said, "Hey, you can't say that. You have to call them conjoined now." All right, that's a joke that I thought of one morning. Thank you. I recently lost my job as a server because I kept hitting the volleyball into the net. Look, some of these were written before quarantine. Some of these were written before I looked up the entry to stand-up comedy on Wikipedia. Now, this is an impression of a woman from Texas who is about to impart bad news onto a group of people. Y'all, thank you. That I worked very hard on that. This is my impression of a woman from Texas who thought all her friends forgot her 30th birthday, but then she got home and found they had thrown her a surprise party. Y'all. Okay, there should be a third one with rule of 3s, but I'm not into your rules. Been doing a lot of online shopping during the quarantine, and I don't want to say I'm addicted to online shopping, but I haven't thrown out this many delivery men's back since my first divorce. Thank you. I'm a horny aunt in that joke. Thank you. My quarantine hobby has been baking, by which I mean I get really high and watch old sci-fi movies on YouTube. I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys. This happens to me all the time. I'll be really stoned and I'll be watching a movie and I'll think, oh, I'm probably about halfway through this. And then I'll check the time and I'm not even home from work yet. It seems like a lot. Boy, this silence is deafening. I've heard them say that before. It's never been more true than it is right now. For a change of pace the other day, I wrote a joke. So here it goes. What's the difference between my penis and my comic book collection? Give up. Women have only complained about the size of one of those things. Thank you. I have a lot of comments. Once upon a time, I was having a really fighty breakup with a lady, you know, like we already hated each other, but we're like, let's fight 4 or 5 more times before we break up. And she was really laying into me one day. She was like, "You're an asshole." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then she was like, "Your band sucks." And I was like, "Again, you're not telling me anything I don't know." And then she was like, so you can just stay here with your little comic book collection. I said, whoa, little. Little. Okay. All right. I don't have a complete run of the Brian Michael Bendis Daredevil. Interesting. That's an interesting way to look at it. Sure. I don't own every issue of the Thunderbolts. Look, lady, until you're ready to see what I'm bringing to this relationship, I want you out of my mother's house. We'll give you a ride to the bus stop. I really do. I mean, it really is all about communication. You know, I think that's really the secret to any relationship. Clearly, I'm an expert. Like one time I went out with some of my friends, and while we were out, I saw the lady I was seeing out with another dude. And I didn't want to make like a scene or anything like that, so we just left. And then when I saw her the next day, I said, hey, I was very calm. I was like, hey, I saw you out last night with some other dude. You know, like what's going on there? And she said, this is all a big misunderstanding. I can clear this right up. I never wanted to go out with you at all in the first place. All right, see? Just got to keep the channels open. I really do miss doing the road a lot because it is the only way I can meet easily impressed women. Like I live in Los Angeles, California, and I own a mirror, so I realize like I'm like a 5 in LA, but if I go to some place like Chattanooga, Tennessee, well then I'm a 5 3 hours earlier, so it's a lot more efficient that way. How am I doing on time? I just got the one bit. Is that?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Okay. Then that will do nicely. I have very bravely decided to stop dating for the 19th time in my life, and it's going all right. I'm really bad at it. I have a really bad track record of dating because what usually happens is a lady will be nice to me, sometimes on accident, and then I get all excited and I go, oh, great, you're going to carry all my emotional baggage now. All right, great, here we go. There you go. No, you can put that. Go. Oh, this is a light one. Yeah, you want to pull around because we're going to be here for a little. All right. Now you're going to want to stack that one beneath the, yeah, there you go. And there we go. All right. Palette number 2. All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Jimmy Callaway. I'm giving my time back to the room.
Jimmy Callaway, everyone. Thank you so much, Jimmy. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And do you have any upcoming gigs?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I forgot to tell you. Me and Nicole Yates run a monthly Zoom show called No Thanks. And our next show is this Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific. And you can find that on our social medias, etc.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Once again, give it up for Jimmy Callaway.
Thank you, everyone.
Right. Dan, any Facebook Live updates?
Yes, I see someone new watching on Facebook, and that is Brian Garrett, who also I'm pretty sure is in the show and says he's here for the shout out. So we'll give him a shout out. And and also I see someone watching on YouTube, M-Tam. I don't know who that is, but thank you for watching, M-Tam. Really appreciate you. And she says, woohoo, Jimmy. So, go Jimmy.
All right. Now, obviously, Flower Shop Bangers is a joint enterprise, but I happen to have a comedy page in my own right. As you may have noticed from the massive, expensive, gargantuan sign that I have against that wall there, I happen to run a comedy page called squ.re. It's an opportunity for me to post late night style monologue jokes 6 or 7 times a week. Basically take a news story and make a wise ass remark about it. I'm on the cusp of 1,900 likes. You are welcome to like and follow Stu News at facebook.com/Stu News. Or if you prefer Twitter, I'm at twitter.com/HeyStu818. And now without further ado, our special guest of the evening is originally from Waterbury, Connecticut, was in New York for a number of years and has spent the last 3 decades in Los Angeles. He is a veteran TV writer and comic whose work you've probably seen and heard on shows as varied as Becker and the Jamie Kennedy Experiment. He was on the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson for a time. though he is probably best known for his work, 4 seasons of work on Futurama. He has had, I can't speak tonight. He recently published his autobiography, which is titled It's a Funny Thing, How the Professional Comedy Business Made Me Fat and Bald, which was recently published by Bear Manor Media. Please welcome Mike Rowe. Mike, how are you?
I'm swell. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Please don't rush the screen. You'll hurt yourselves.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to have you. I have to admit, I really like the subtitle of this, How the Professional Comedy Business Got Involved. You know, I was misled, but for the longest time I thought it had something to do with genetics.
No, it has to do with a lot of stress, a lot of stress eating, a lot of weeping, and a lot of just physically pulling the hair out of me. So have fun in the comedy business, you youngsters. No, it's been great. It's been great. The book kind of talks about, like, you know, kind of the purpose of the book was really kind of for younger people who are starting. It's sort of like if it would have been a book I wish I had found when I was starting, because it's just kind of my journey, and it shows though what you might expect or the kinds of things you can go through, or how do you get through it, how do you conquer things, and you know, how do you triumph, and how do you just kind of cope with the ups and downs of it all, you know? So that's part of the reason I wrote it.
I mean, certainly it's not an easy path by any means.
And I've been around so long, I had some of my first TV shots colorized. That's how long, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying colorized. Anyway, but the book is, I just had a great time. I did the audio book, but they took it down because nobody told me I was supposed to read it out loud. You know, a lot of pages turning and me hemming and hawing. So it was not a big seller.
Now, I had to confess before the show that, well, first of all, I want to say that what I have read has been very breezy and enchanting. I've been really engrossed by this book, though I am kind of embarrassed to admit that this book is about 250 pages. I'm only at about page 130. But I mean, but I'm right at the point where you're about to write your first spec script. You wrote spec script for Newhart sometime in the mid 1980s. I kind of couldn't help but notice that we have very similar comic influences. I mean, I grew up listening to George Carlin and Bob Newhart, and you took almost kind of like a religious approach to their brand of comedy. So you grew up in Waterbury, Connecticut. That's about 35 minutes from Hartford? That sound about right? Would you consider that like a Hartford suburb?
Not quite, but yeah, it's I would say half hour. Waterbury's further north, almost in the middle of the state, little factory town, you know.
Okay.
It's funny, you know, I was so in love with stand-up and listening to those records like you were. Well, my friends were listening to, you know, Foghat and Peter Frampton and smoking pot. I was sitting at home, you know, recording comedians off the TV with my little recorder, and so I was just really obsessed with it. So I started doing stand-up. I was probably 16, 17. And this is, you know, I'm a little kid basically. And this was before every building in every town had comedy clubs. There was just no comedy clubs. And I would just show up in bars that had bands, and I would go to the manager, the owner, whatever, and I'd say, look, when they have a break, can I just go up and tell jokes? I was just so like, I don't care, I'm gonna do it. And most of the time they would let me do that. And because what happened was, as I was recording comedians and looking high and low to see comedians on TV, because also they weren't on TV all that much. But I would search high and low to find comedians. And this was back when Johnny Carson had a Tonight Show. Among others, Rodney Dangerfield was the guy that I really liked. And I would record his jokes and parse them and do them to my friends. I'm you know, 17 and I'm doing jokes about my lawyer and my wife, you know, but But I was just so into his style and his delivery. And then one night on the show, Rodney kind of got personal and talked about his real life for a minute. And he talked about how he did stand-up early on in the Catskill Mountains, and he went by the name of Jack Roy. And it wasn't going very well at all. But in that story, he talked about his club in New York called Dangerfields. My little comedy head thought, I bet, like, if I wanted to get to Rodney, like I had this idea, I'm going to write some jokes and send them to Jack Roy at Dangerfields in New York City. So I got my mom's typewriter, manual typewriter. And I just, so the jokes, his style had become such a part of my DNA that I was able to figure out sort of how to write some jokes. They weren't great. I kind of remember a couple. I could tell my wedding wasn't going to work out. The wedding march was taps. So anyway, I sent like a page jokes to him and then just kind of forgot about it. A couple weeks go by. And then one night after dinner, the phone rings, and I'm downstairs in my, paneled basement bedroom. And my mom answers the phone, and she's like on top of the stairs, Mike, there's a Rodney on the phone for you. I'm like, what? And I pick up, I'm like, hello? Yeah, Mike, it's Rodney. How you doing? You okay? You all right? Hey, I'm like, yeah, I got your jokes. They're pretty good. They're all right. I'm like, oh, thank you. But they're not for me. They're not my jokes, but they're good, Anyway, he kept me on the phone for like 15 minutes, and I told him I wanted to do stand-up, and he told me about all the showcase clubs in New York. That was when all the clubs were just starting to fire up, like the Improv and Catch a Rising Star. And don't come to my club, though. It's no good, And so I felt like at 17, I was like, what better endorsement, and I was just like, to me, it hit the next level. And then like a week later, he sent a handwritten letter and saying like, it's going to take a long time. He said it took me 8 years to find out that I was even funny, so, and he meant it. And so part of that then also not only gave me this idea of like, well, if I got his endorsement, but at the same time is like saying, you're not going to be good for a while. He's just like, just know you're not going to be good. So that kind of helped me, like when I just walk in bars or whatever, and if it's not going well, it's like, well, that's what's supposed to happen. That's how he told me. I'm not going to be funny, so I'll just keep going until I'm funny, or hopefully funny. So so that was like a big pivotal moment, and I moved to Midtown Manhattan in late '79. So I was just like 18 or 19. And New York City back then, but I mean, the fun thing was it was right on the cusp of the big comedy boom. I just got in time for that wave. So it was great. My main club was the Improv back then in New York, which is long gone now, but I got to meet so many great people. I don't know if people are still into Andy Kaufman and all that stuff, but
yes.
I got to know Andy Kaufman a little bit, and I got to referee some of his wrestling matches at the Improv. I got to play drums for his Elvis when he did it there. I mean, this was my introduction into the city. I mean, into the whole comedy world. It was just great.
Oh yeah, I mean, you got to know like Gilbert Gottfried, like right when he was getting started too.
Yeah, Gilbert. It was Gilbert before he was screaming his act. And his eyes
he still had sound a little more like Jerry Seinfeld. I've heard some of his older stuff.
Yeah, he used to like things like he would get a stack of napkins, right? And he would flip through it like a book, and then it'd be like the Bible, and then he'd flip to the back about the author. Jesus was born in Brooklyn, and if you flip the pages, there's a fat lady with a hula hoop. Flipping around. And what was interesting too, that comedy then, every comedian was just really, really different. I mean, it's not quite that now, but because this was like, guy did puppets, another guy just did audience stuff, another guy would just do impressions. Everybody was very distinct, and you know, it was really kind of special. It was a really special time to be in that, you know.
I was going to say, because the book paints a really interesting picture of your time living in Ed Koch era New York City, you know, working your way through the improv and all the other comedy venues that were there, you know, in the early mid 80s. And then I guess you were the opening, you were like the warm up for the sitcom Kate and Alley.
Yeah. There was a whole business. I don't know if it's how much of that is happening now, but there was a whole business of warming up for TV shows, concerts. There was a lot of big music venues back then in New York. I opened for Kenny G, and it was a place called the Bottom Line in Manhattan. And I worked 2 nights, 4 shows. But there was it was just a stupid thing, but we each had these big dressing rooms with a bathroom and everything. And the second night, you know, I'm looking down the hall in his dressing room, and he has a big party going on. Like, you know, there's food and drugs and celebrities. And I'm alone in my dressing room, but I'm standing, you know, because I thought we were hanging out. I thought, you know, we were sort of connected. So I'm standing in the doorway of my dressing room, wanting to get his attention because I want to get invited to the thing. I'm just standing there like, and then he finally sees me, and he kind of runs over and goes, "Mike, yeah, I'm having a party in my dressing room. Is it okay if I take a shit in here?" Yeah, great. That's good.
All the smooth jazz groupies.
Yeah. Could I plug a GoFundMe thing right now? I just hate to kind of take.
Oh yeah, sure. I have a couple of questions, but yes, go ahead and plug your GoFundMe.
We do a lot of great work. We're collecting for the Balloon Animal Adoption Center, and we're doing a lot of great work. You know, we get deformed balloon animals off the streets. You know, they come in, they got deflated limbs and big genitalia, and honestly, we don't have the ceiling space for them, and so if we don't get them adopted, we pop them. We do. So there'll be a link. You know, if you want to send some. I get a little emotional. Sorry. Let me. Maybe I should also plug. For a second, I just want to. I'm just finishing another book. It's for the hard of hearing. So all the dialogue is, "How are you?" shouted Joe. "I'm fine," screamed Bill. It's just another way of my giving back to the people. So I'm looking at my notes if I have any. I wrote my favorite job, by the way. I know everybody's jealous because my favorite job was I got to write for the Comedy Central roasts. I probably wrote for 10 or 12 of them. If I can.
You did the Donald Trump roast. I think you did was it the Rob Lowe roast?
Rob Lowe. I probably did 90% of them. There was a couple I missed along the way. Shatner was my first one.
Oh, no kidding. I have that one on DVD.
And I was typically Jeff Ross's joke whisperer for a lot of them. And if you want to indulge me, I have a couple of roast jokes that did not make the roast.
Oh my goodness, I would love to hear them. All
right. Brad Garrett is here tonight. Brad Garrett models himself after his Jewish hero, Frankenstein. I did a Gene Simmons roast on another network. Gene Simmons is so old that in his concerts, not only does he spit blood, he shits blood. Because he's old. Let's see, might be a reason why these didn't get on. Tonight, Jeff Ross hit a milestone, his second trimester. Anybody? No, just the women. All right. I remember when Roseanne had a tattoo of her first love, bacon. These are the Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers is so horrible. She's such a horrible person. Edgar's ghost committed suicide. Anybody reference to? way back. I did have, if I can brag though, I did have a famous joke that went around during the 2016 election. Became a big meme for the Democratic Party. This is true. It was very exciting. In fact, it was for Snoop Dogg, and he actually had it. They actually talked about it when he was on Conan. But he said Donald Trump is thinking about running for president. Why not? It's not the first time he pushed a black family out of their home. That was what else is good, and what else would you like to know about the professional?
I guess I speak on behalf of several people that are tuning in tonight, and actually a couple of our other performers, because we have a number of Futurama fans. I know Matt loves the show. You came aboard, I believe it was the beginning of season 4, correct?
No, I'm always confused when I started, but I think I was there for like 7 seasons.
Okay.
And it got canceled like during the run I was there. It got canceled 3 times, and it kept coming back. So yeah, that was that obviously is my favorite job. As you said, I won the Emmy. I had it carefully placed. I had a team of people come in and carefully place it. I have a lighting guy. He actually comes in. I keep him on a pay thing, because he comes in every couple days and adjusts it. I actually had a plaque. I had a board for my shoulder, like a little shelf, so I could put the Emmy on a shelf up. So when I walk around like the neighborhood, I continue to have the Emmy over my shoulder. It's not even my Emmy. That's the weird part. But Futurama was fantastic, and part of the secret of that, it's not a secret, but it's an amazing, crazy sci-fi, very dense visual sci-fi world. But that show comes down to the characters. People were drawn to the characters, drawn to that world and their dynamics, and that's really what people got hooked on. It was a little harder for me at Family Guy, because it's essentially a joke machine.
Yeah, there's no plot, all jokes.
Yeah. So when I was there and then Futurama came back again, I kind of took the opportunity to go back to Futurama. I felt a little more at home there,
I was gonna say, I was looking at IMDb, and I think the one episode you're credited for, Family Guy, was I think it was that very first time they had Frank Sinatra Jr. on the show. I don't know if you had any experiences with Frank Sinatra. I don't know if you had a chance to, sit in the trunk with him.
No, in fact, I didn't even get to do my audio commentary on that, but where Frank Sinatra Jr. was there, because I had already left the show by the time that thing got made.
Oh.
Yeah, I was already. It's funny, because especially Family Guy takes longer. So from page to screen, it takes like 1.5 years. So by the time we hand it in, and then it goes through all the stages of animation and rewrites and all that sort of thing, it just takes a long time.
And it's almost has kind of like an assembly line quality too. It's everyone's working on one particular thing. They're probably working on everyone is working on like 13 or 14 episodes at a time, or maybe it just seems like that.
Well, part of the process too is we would have we'd all meet, and there'd be like a draft of an episode. And Seth would kind of go through it with us and go like through page 1 and be like, oh, that beat where they're in the church, let's do a thing there. Like I haven't been to church since. And then like 3 or 4 of us would go up in a room, and we would spend the whole day just writing that joke, but we would write 3 versions of that joke. And there would be teams of those people doing different cutaways. And then at the end of the day, the captain, I guess, of each team would go in front of the room and read each one of the 3 to the room, and then Seth would pick the best one that would go in. So there is a process to the cutaway thing.
Oh, interesting. That's probably the first insight I've really ever had about like how they do everything on Family Guy. I mean, it probably may have been just a bit curt of me to say, no plot, all jokes, but I mean, but again, it's a very joke-driven show.
Right. There's some built-in emotion because it's a family, you know, and there's a family dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that we had that on Futurama too. You know, a good show will have kind of a good little emotional moment. I mean, The Simpsons has it. There's that third act, even though it's quick, you know, but a little bit goes a long way. There's kind of that, you know, everybody's happy, and there's whether it's a family moment or somebody accomplishes something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's that I think is always important. You know, that's
for sure.
It seems all too often like some shows forget about that, or some shows get so overdeveloped that it bypasses that and they lose sight of that stuff. But you know, so yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Now, I guess I do have one more Futurama question. Was there a particular character that you liked writing for? Was there maybe like someone that you felt like you related to on a personal level, or?
Well, yeah, I would always kind of fight for the Bender episodes because he's just sort of the more rowdy, more joke-driven character. But again, I always went for the emotional stuff. I wrote one that was based on something that happened to my mom. When her mom passed away, she kind of got over it when she had a dream of her mom saying goodbye to her. So I kind of talked about in the room that, like, you know, Fry was kind of jettisoned into the future and never got to say goodbye to his family. So I kind of came up with this thing where the professor had this ability to get Fry to go into his dream and follow some steps. He was actually looking for a way to save the planet because there was this weird tone coming through that was destroying planets. So he seemed to remember the tone from his past. So the professor put him through the steps, his memories. So in the memories, he was going to find his parents and have that goodbye with them. So eventually it got to, in the end, he finally had that moment with his mother. And in this dream, he's saying goodbye to her, but then he realizes it's actually his mom dreaming and she's saying goodbye to him. So, and that was the one the fans of mine, at least, liked the most, because I think that emotion really, you know, hit them in a really hardcore way, you know?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I can, because, yeah, Futurama was definitely known for those episodes where they had kind of those, you know, for lack of a better term, kind of like a gut punch ending.
Yeah.
You know, kind of, it really does grab you emotionally. We have just like a little bit of time. So if I may ask about just one more story, kind of going back to your time in New York in the 80s, you saved Eric Clapton's life.
Yep, sort of, yes. There was a music show on NBC hosted by David Sanborn. It was called Night Music. And they called me last minute to do audience warm-up, but I found out it's like Clapton. You don't even have to pay me. You know, it was Clapton and Robert Cray. I don't know how many people remember Robert Cray, also a great blues guitar player.
Yeah.
And I never ask for autographs, you know, when I work on these shows with celebrities. It's just not cool. But I said, I got to get Clapton's autograph. I have to figure it out. And I eventually kind of worked my way into the green room, and he's sitting there talking with Robert Cray. And I'm kind of looking for my moment to get in. And then I just kind of, you know, and I tell him I'm the audience warm-up guy. And in fact, he recognized me because there was a moment when they were kind of giving me a sound check in the studio, there was nobody there. And then when that guy left, I'm still out there by myself. And then Clapton and Robert Cray came out by themselves and just they strapped on the guitars and started playing. And I was like, you know, 4 feet away, and I just watched them play. It was amazing. So when I went to the green room and said, you know, can I get an autograph? When I did that, some Nazi woman just kind of pulled me out of the dressing room. She's like, we don't ask people, we don't ask for autographs here. And I'm like, right, geez. So, and Clapton kind of looked like, what's going on? So at the end of the night, everybody's pretty much gone home, and I'm getting ready to leave. And I see Clapton at the other end of the studio come out with his little entourage, and they're kind of standing there talking, and then he kind of looks up and sees me, and then he kind of pushes everybody away because he's actually going to wants to come, and he breaks up his little group, and then comes over to me he wants to give me his autograph. And then so he saw me, and he left because he saw me, and as he walked away and came to me, this gigantic monitor right where he was standing fell from the ceiling. It sounded like a plane crashed through the building, but it fell exactly where he was standing. So if he had been standing there, instead of running over to give me an autograph, he would have had a gigantic monitor crush him in the head. So we both looked, and I said, I think you could have just been killed. He laughed, and then he signed the music sheet from that night, and he said, "Thanks for saving my life, Eric Clapton." So that's
incredible.
Yeah,
that's really remarkable. Well, once again, the title of the book is called "It's a Funny Thing." It just came out in the last couple. It was just published in the last couple of weeks, I believe.
Yeah, about a month or so.
And it's you can buy it at bearmanormedia.com.
And it's on Amazon for those who might want to go to Amazon.
Oh, it's also on Amazon. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Mike, thank you so much for taking the time to come here and promote your book and share all these incredible stories. It really was an honor and a pleasure, sir.
Thank you. I had a blast.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Mike Rowe, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan.
What's up?
Let's do one last check-in at the Facebook Live feed.
Let's do that. So I thought I would give a shout out to, I believe it is a couple people. Actually, I think there's really just one left. And that is Joanne Cushing Higgins. Thank you for watching, Joanne. We appreciate you. And we also want to give a special shout out to everyone else who's watched tonight. Remember, we are doing this every Sunday and every Wednesday for the next couple weeks. I think mid-April, we're going to go down to just Wednesdays. But regardless, if you want to watch this show and if you want to keep up with when we're doing it next, you can subscribe to the Flower Shop Bangers on YouTube, or you can like us on Facebook.
Yep. And you could also subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yeah.
But you already said that, didn't you?
I did say that, yes. I just took a bit to...
Just starstruck, and I've been tripping over myself all evening.
You are fine, Stuart. I know how much you love Futurama.
Thank you. Well, and just comedy in general. But if we don't have an opportunity to do this after our last act, I just want to say thank you to Mike Rowe, and thank you to Jimmy Callaway. Thank you to Jan McNamara and everybody in the How Embarrassing crew. We sincerely thank you. We still have this tip jar. I don't think we've had any additions to the tip jar, so everyone's still going home with about $3.10. And as Dan mentioned before, we do this every Sunday and Wednesday. And as it happens, this Sunday will be our last Sunday show, or our last Sunday Zoom show. And it is overloaded with great stand-up. We're going to be bringing back Sharia Mattis, Lindsay Shaw, and Carolyn Portner. Plus, we're going to have more stand-up comedy from Rebecca Rush, Jason Oxhorn, and Lancey Joe. I'm really looking forward to this show. Also, again, if you have missed any part of this evening's show, it will be archived on Facebook Live, or I should say on Facebook, on our Facebook page right after the show ends. Without further ado, your final act of the evening are the co-hosts and co-producers of Semi-Regular Wednesdays, who, until 12 and a half months ago, were hosting this show at Shakers on Clark in Boys Town. They'll be celebrating their 8th anniversary and their 100th remote show on Wednesday, April 7th, with their special guests, Rachel Mason, Susan Messing, Playboy centerfold turned advice columnist Candace Jordan, Calvin Evans, and Erica Switzer. This duo has performed in improv festivals pretty much all across the United States in such major metropolises as Omaha, Nebraska, St. Louis, Missouri, Green Bay, Wisconsin, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Baltimore, Maryland. Please welcome Flower Shop Bangers.
Woo! Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Flower Shop Bangers. I put our Venmos right up above so that if you are still at home and if you are like, hey, where's that tip jar? I'm just going to keep those up there. If you'll notice, it says donate to whoever's funnier. So I guess now, even though Stuart said earlier it's not a competition, right now it is. You know what? But still, everything just gets divided evenly. So it's like it's a communist competition. I don't know. But anyway, we are the Flower Shop Bangers. We're going to do some improv for you, and we get weird with it. I know they said there can only be one, but do you really think there can only be one? I think there can be more than one.
I mean, someone's got to pull this sword out of this stone.
I know, you know. But all I'm saying is, like, you know, we could have two kings.
I mean, I suppose, but then we're going to have to, you know, make joint decisions and stuff like that.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, these decisions should be a discussion anyway. Why do we want our one, you know, high and mighty God-chosen ruler anyway? That sounds overrated to me. You kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You know, I don't know if I can handle, you know, complete, almost dictatorial power. I don't know if that's for me.
And think about it, the servants. Too many servants.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to divide up the servants. Am I crazy?
Yeah. I mean, I want to do certain things myself. I don't need to have a servant bathe me or dress me or anything like that.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. I mean, maybe one of them could do my taxes. That's about all I ask for.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I suppose, you know, I wouldn't mind having, like, you know, a personal chef. I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, that'd be nice, you know, or I don't know. Something else. I don't know, like, you know, maybe someone to answer, you know, your to, like, you know, a first line of defense for your decrees, you know, your the messages, you know, or it's the messages from the common folk, you know, they can filter them out, determine what's important and what's not.
I mean, some people might look at it as just ass kissing, but at the same time, it's, you know, when you're in power and it helps to have that positive reinforcement. You know, it makes you feel less alone.
Hey, Chuck, I got to show you something. I'm really
okay.
Sorry, I went silent for a second.
You pulled the sword out?
Yes, I pulled the sword out. I did it last week. I could do it again. I knew I could do it. I'm the chosen one, all right? I didn't want to expose myself.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this. Okay, our kingdom has been in a power vacuum for 50 years.
Yes, I'm aware.
I mean, you could be calling the shots, right?
I could be calling the shots, but really, do I want to? No, I don't. That's the answer. I don't want to. It's too much pressure. Too much. Sorry, I don't mean to, like, say these things, but I know the king's in disarray, but I don't really want to pick up the pieces.
I mean, it's not. You're not going to fix everything overnight. I get that.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is an incredible opportunity. I mean, you could start maybe like a 1-year plan or a 5-year plan. You know, kind of see where the kingdom is in a decade.
Oh, well, you know, 5-year plan, 1-year plan, economic recovery, try to, you know, like lift up the, you know, the plebeians and take them under your wing and make them, I don't know, maybe into a middle class, educate them. There are a lot of things I could do. But quite honestly, I also just like sitting on the beach and drinking a pina colada.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, you've got pina coladas. All I have is mead.
Mead?
Mead.
Yeah, I gotcha. I mean, truth be told, I think the truth is, I want to be one of the lazy kings if I'm going to be a king. And quite honestly, considering I want to be lazy and I have a conscience, I don't want people to be hurt by my laziness and ineptitude. Does that make sense, Chuck?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. No, listen, I get it, Ned. That just, but man, I mean, you might be just this like once in a generation guy that I can pull the sword out of the stone. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know if anyone here can do it. I certainly don't.
No.
I mean, I've tried. I don't have the upper body strength. I mean, look at these noodle arms.
Yeah, no,
Well,
it's not a
look
matter
at-
of noodle arms. It's a matter of
tall
having.
and strong and
Mhm.
virtuous.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes perfect sense that you would pull out the sword.
Chuck,
Ned.
I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna pull out the sword and I'm just gonna hand it to you, and you could be king. How does that sound? Does that sound good to you?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Just make me your Archduke of partying.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just call it like the Royal Party Committee or something
There we
like
go.
that.
Yeah, you know what my role is, man.
I mean, it's dishonest, but
Yeah.
I suppose I could.
I mean, truth be told, you could just say, I don't know, maybe. I mean, clearly I have this royal blood. We can figure something out, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we could, kind of. split
God
these-
chose you. He didn't choose me.
Yeah.
God.
I mean, I could just hand me the sword.
Yeah, sure. I got you. Here you go. Here's the sword.
Oh,
Yeah, I know it's a big sword. I get. Oh man, you really can't carry that.
Ah,
Oh jeez, I didn't realize it was that heavy. I didn't realize like. I mean, this is like Mjolnir or whatever. Mjolnir. How do you pronounce that? Thor's hammer.
Mjolnir.
I don't think that's right. Stop.
Right.
Okay, hand me the sword back. Hand me the. I'll take the sword. I'll take the sword. Oh, I got it now.
Pull the sword out of the stone. Look at me. I've got the sword. Hello.
You didn't even notice I took the sword from you.
Uh,
I have it in my hand. I'm sorry. You can't carry it. We can't really fake this if you can't even hold the sword. You can't carry it. I mean, maybe there is something to me, even though I really don't want to be. Maybe I can.
Sometimes this sort of thing is just thrust upon you. I mean, oh my God, my shoulders are killing me. I mean, maybe this is something you have to grow into. Maybe you're not ready now, but once you figure out, what you want to do as king, you understand the power that you wield.
Yeah.
I mean, this really could be something special. I mean, you could bring this kingdom into a new golden age, like I said before. I mean, there's just something about you that's just naturally regal. I mean, okay.
I don't. No, I'm not actually gonna.
Please.
Sorry, I don't mean to point the sword at you. I apologize.
Okay. Yeah, it's enough that I nearly killed myself lifting that damn thing. That's gotta be like 100 pounds.
Hey man,
it's
it
just
just
made of mercury.
sits on my back, man. It's in my sheath.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like nothing to me. But it
just-
does feel like a lot. Being responsible for the well-being of a whole kingdom. Being responsible for leading an army into battle, and maybe or maybe not defeating my enemy, the enemy kingdom.
I'm
Chuck, I'm scared.
Hey, I'm gonna be here with you every step of the way. Trust me.
You promise?
Yes, I promise.
Yeah.
I promise. This is just so much to absorb at once. I
gotcha.
Come on, we grew up together. It's we both lived, next door to each other in the same thatched huts. We made mud pies together as kids.
I
we
know.
could play, pick
Those
the
were good
can
mud
and all
pies.
that, and just. Look at you. You're this. Even with you have the sword in your back, and you just look like this golden Adonis.
That's real nice of you.
Yeah,
Real nice
I
of
get
you
it.
to say.
I'm just this little 5'8.5" schlub. And you're like something out of Dungeons and Dragons.
There are a lot of things in Dungeons and Dragons. I could be a gnome for.
Okay, maybe that's a bad analogy. You're Legolas.
Oh, okay, that's better.
Yeah, Legolas, but maybe it's like a different shade of blonde.
Or maybe like Aragorn. I don't know. Aragorn's kind of the.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
I think
Like a taller Aragorn.
Yeah, sure. There you go. I don't know. Legolas, I guess, was pretty It's pretty tall too, you know.
I mean, well, compared to the the hobbits.
Oh yeah, well, everyone's tall compared to the hobbits.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm slightly taller than a hobbit, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, you know, I mean,
yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
What?
You've got I don't know if you noticed this, but you've got a crown floating over your head. I'm not sure if you
Wait,
noticed.
what?
No, it
Oh,
just
come on.
appeared. No, you've got this crown. It's like 2 inches above your head. I mean,
Yes,
look,
I can see it now. It's right above my head. And quite frankly, I don't know if I want it.
I mean, I have no power over this. I mean, if I tried to grab that sword, I mean, I'm probably gonna give myself a compound hernia.
Yeah, I know. You're gonna give yourself a hernia. I have a crown over my head, gifted to me by the gods. It's almost like a halo, but it's a crown. And now the angels are singing. Lord.
There are angels singing. I mean, man, I wish girls pay attention to me like that.
They're angels. You can't really have sex with an angel. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Yeah,
It's
true.
an otherworldly being. You can't just like have sex with them. Even as great as that sounds, you kind of need a human to do that, you know?
I mean, not even the dead will pay attention
Yeah.
to me. I mean,
Not even the dead?
I mean.
Oh,
the
gotcha. Yeah,
angels
the angels, the
do.
dead.
I
they
mean,
want to-
all of a sudden there's cherubs and there's roses and there's all the stuff in the air right now. I don't know if you can see behind you, but I mean, this is clearly, some sort of mystical ascension that I'm witnessing here. Yeah.
I know.
I'm just a guy drinking his meat on the beach,
Yeah, I know. I get it, Chuck. You know what? I'm king. I'm the heavenly, divine right appointed king. And I couldn't be more miserable. I know. I should be happy. I should be grateful. But I'm really scared I'm going to fuck this shit up.
Dude, I'm gonna be here with you the whole way. All right. I mean, at this point, I'm just as entangled in this as you are. I mean, I'm not the chosen one by any means, but I could be your appointed one. I mean, we can spitball ideas about how we can restore the economy around here.
Oh, sure, yeah, no,
I mean,
that's important,
Yeah, I mean, we could maybe modernize this place.
Oh yeah, modernize, yeah.
Yeah, I heard some guy in Scandinavia invented a printing press.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have to write everything anymore.
Like I don't have to write it on a stone tablet anymore?
No.
What?
Or anything, yeah.
Oh my God, away with stone tablets. This is the best day ever.
I know, right?
God. You don't know how much pain stone tablets have caused me.
Yeah, I mean, it just takes all day just to chisel. I mean, it takes me 2 hours to go like, hi, Mom.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
Yeah, I mean, see, we're already finding perks to this.
Yeah. That's why I have you as my first advisor. That's why you are my first advisor. That's my first decree as king. You're my first advisor. And now, well, I don't know what my second degree is going to be. You're going to advise me on it.
I say let's just wing it. I mean, this is all new to us. Let's just kind of get the lay of the land and see kind of like try to hit one issue at a time.
Oh, that makes sense. I think the next issue, should we start my ascension to the throne?
Yeah, and then build your army, and then
there you go. Yeah, okay.
We could have invading Viking forces or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, Viking forces
always frisky.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
So I see a ray of light. It seems to be, shining over that town over there. I'm assuming that's my new kingdom, that I'm going to rise from the ashes, turn into a great home of wealth and prosperity. And so, I mean, should we go head over there?
Yeah, sure. Hopefully the food's good.
I guess so. Oh, yeah. I heard the townspeople, they got great potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
You ever had a good potato?
That's our show! Thanks to all of our performers tonight. Our special thanks to Mike Rowe and Janet McNamara and Jimmy Callaway and the How Embarrassing Gang. We'll be back this Sunday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. In the meantime, just because we are nearing the end of the pandemic doesn't mean that we are at the end of the pandemic. Please stay home when you can. Please wash your hands. Please wear a mask. Please stay a minimum 6 feet away from strangers and acquaintances. Also, believe women. Black Lives Matter. Asian Lives Matter. Thank you so much and have a good night.